father and a daughter face separate pre-trials today on opposite sides of the globe, one before the ICC and the other still in the Philippine Senate. In The Hague, judges warn against misinformation and commentary in former President Rodrigo Duterte's crimes against humanity case ahead of his trial on November 30. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment pre-trial hits a snag with thousands of documents still being marked as prosecutors plead for more time to finish ahead of the trial on July 6. Good evening, I'm Lourdes de Vera. The pre-trial conference for the impeachment case of Vice President Sara Duterte may be extended until the weekend. This, as both prosecution and defense met today for the third day of the conference. And for the details, we have our mobile journalist, Merymon Reyes. Merymon, is the reason the voluminous, the thousands and thousands of documents that still have to be marked?
Yes, Lord. According to both the defense team of Vice President Sara Duterte and the House Prosecution Panel, the delays or the extension to the pretrial conference has nothing to do with any so-called delaying tactics from both or either of the parties. It has something to do with the volume. Ganun daw kasi karami talaga, especially sa Articles 1 and 2. Ito yung impeachment articles or articles of impeachment pertaining sa allegations of misuse of public funds or the confidential funds. And yung article na pangalawa ay yung tungkol naman sa unexplained wealth of VP Sara Duterte. Ang sinasabi pareho ng House Prosecution Panel maging ng Defense Panel, it's normal, especially sa case daw na impeachment na per article of impeachment, maraming ebidensya, maraming dokumento. Sa unang article pa lang, around 4,000 documents kailangan nilang markahan yung mga ebidensya, witnesses, testimonies. And one good thing na lang is tomorrow, yung marking, yung group to mark para sa evidence na nakapailalim doon or nakapaloob sa second article, may ilalagay na raw na isa pang table. So hopefully, yung paghahati-hati ng pagmamarka ng ebidensya, mas mapapabilis na raw nito. However, nasabi rin kanina ni lead prosecutor Congresswoman Jervil Luistro, they are looking for an extension of the pretrial conference until Friday or Saturday of this weekend. Pero ang sabi naman ng defense ni Attorney Michael Poa, kung ano man daw yung magiging schedule, kung magkakaroon ng extension pa sa pretrial conference, they are willing naman and ready to respond and to adjust. Lord.
Aabutan na sila nung pre-trial mismo.
So far kasi sa kalendaryo, supposedly, according din kay Clerk of Court Attorney Ray Bantug, ayaw na talaga nilang ma-push hanggang June 25 or malagpasan until June 25 yung pre-trial conference. Kasi yung sa huling napag-aprubahan din at napag-agrihan ng mga senador, hanggang doon lang yung pre-trial conference. And then yung next or succeeding days, ito na yung pag-i-issue na ng pre-trial order, yung pagsasabit na ng comments of both the parties tungkol sa pre-trial order para tuloy pa rin ang impeachment trial set on July 6. Ang sinasabi naman ng House Prosecution Panel, they're still seeing na matutuloy pa rin naman ang trial proper ng July 6. Ang kailangan lang talaga nilang mapagtuunan ng oras at atensyon ngayon ay matapos itong pre-trial conference. Lord.
Okay, in terms of witnesses, ganun pa rin ba? Kasi marami daw na mga witness for the prosecution na isi-share din ng defense, or am I getting it reverse?
Ang sinasabi kasi dito ni Attorney Michael Poa, walang mirroring na nangyayari. Kasi nung weeks ago, nung nagpadala sila, sabay naman sila on the same day din na nagbigay ng kanilang pre-trial briefs. So kung ano man yung ebidensya or witnesses na meron yung prosec panel, kung ano man meron ang defense, kanya-kanya rin daw yan. Pero to note, yung isa kasing inaabangan natin ay yung tinatawag na surprise witnesses or surprise evidence. Ang nasabi ni Congresswoman na Luistro, ayaw niya raw na tawagin, technically hindi raw surprise witnesses or evidence to, kundi reserved witnesses or evidence. And so far, sa huling pronouncement kasi ng prosecution, ngayon kasi hindi na sila pwede mag-divulge pa talaga in specific details, around 57 witnesses ang meron from the prosec. And ang may exemption daw kasi usually kung ano lang yung naka-indicate doon sa pre-trial brief na listahan ng evidence or witnesses, yan lang yung ipepresenta sa trial proper. Pero meron ditong exemption. Ito yung pagdating sa witnesses din and evidence na kung may issue on safety and security, pwedeng reservation daw muna and then i-disclose na lang ang mga ito sa impeachment court 3 days before their presentation. Ang kinonfirm ni Congresswoman Luistro, so far meron silang reserve evidence and reserve witnesses. Same din sa end ng defense. Ang sabi ni Attorney Powa, they do have witnesses na hindi pa nadidisclose dahil daw sa safety concerns, pero antabayanan na lang din nila how everything will happen or proceed come the impeachment trial. Lord.
Balik tayo sa mga document markings, ano? So, kailangan yon i-review pa ng defense separately bago checkan ng both sides. Tama?
Yes, Lord. Yung sa marking kasi, actually, ang nasabi kanina ni Congresswoman Loristro, may motion sana sila kung pwede yung common evidence or common documents or documentary evidence, kumbaga mamarkahan na altogether. Pero hindi ito tinanggap ng defense team. And ang sinabi naman kasi, so ang nangyari kanina, kanya-kanya pa rin sila ng marking. Kanya-kanyang pagtitingin sa mga ebidensya, sa mga kopya, kung certified true copy ito, i-compare daw siya sa original copy. Kaya strenuous talaga yung pag-iisa-isa nitong mga dokumento. Ang sinasabi rin ni Attorney Powa kanina, isang example niya raw, may certain document na reportedly it may be similar, pero kung mamarkahan na to altogether, ang napansin nila, kulang daw ng page or kulang ng parte o pahina yung dokumento na meron ng House Prosec compared sa kung ano ang meron ang defense panel. So yun yung sinisignify nila, kaya ayaw nila na magkaroon ng kumbaga, united na marking ng common evidence. Kasi nga, ito raw yung reason. Though, pwede pa rin naman mapadali ang lahat, basta ma-organize lang nila lahat ng ito for their exhibit and presentation sa trial proper. Lord.
At yung sinasabing 4,000 plus pages na ebidensya na dokumento is just for the first article alone.
For the first article alone, ito yung alleged misuse of public funds or confidential funds. And hindi pa raw sila tapos. Ang nasabi ni Attorney Powa kanina, kasama ng iba pang mga abogado from the defense team, hindi pa rin sila tapos sa articles 1 and 2, yung sa unexplained wealth. So tomorrow, ipagpapatuloy nila ito, isasalang nila ito. And even Congressman Terry Ridon from the House Prosecution Panel, kanina nandito siya. And sinabi, hindi pa raw talaga sila tapos. Marami-rami pa silang kailangang asikasuhin, pero walang issue raw na merong kakulangan sa numero ng mga from the prosecution panel nor from the defense team kasi present naman daw sila dito o merong pumupunta sa pre-trial conferences. Lord.
Pwede palang mag-introduce din, Mary Mon, ng surprise witnesses. Pero hindi siya completely surprise witness kasi may mga pamantayan. At ano-ano yung mga pamantayan na yun, Mary Mon?
Kailangan, Lord, itong surprise witnesses and even sa, kung sakali man sa documentary evidence, sabi ni Congresswoman Woman Luistro, ang kailangan dito may disclosure sa impeachment court 3 days before its presentation. And ang isang exemption din dito, kung for example, sa documentary evidence, kung hindi pa siya readily available, o kaya naman, for example, sa witnesses, kung may security or safety concerns. And yun din yung sinight ni Attorney Powa regarding sa kanilang reserve or quote-unquote surprise witnesses na for now, meron pa silang hindi na-disclose publicly dahil daw sa security concerns. Pero meron din daw silang naka-prepare kung ano man ang mangyayari at kakailanganin sa trial proper.
Security concerns. Security nino?
Well, so far, nasabi kasi yung common grounds nila pareho nung witness mismo. Kaya yun din yung sinabi ni Attorney Powa. So far, meron silang mga isinumite na pangalan ng witnesses, same din naman sa defense panel. Pero kung sakali man, yung isang concern daw nila ay yung safety or security nitong witnesses. Pero ang malinaw dito, kailangan nilang i-disclose 3 days sa impeachment court, 3 days before its presentation or their presentation. So technically, magkakaalaman pa rin naman talaga just 3 days before the presentation of the witnesses.
All right. Abangan natin kung matatapos ba ito sa weekend. Maraming salamat sa ating Mojo, ang mobile journalist Mary Mona Reyes. All right, more developments ahead on Political Beat. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, right, with the impeachment trial of the Vice President targeted to start July 6, attention's now turning to whether the Senate is prepared to handle what is expected to be a complex and high-stakes proceedings. But our guest tonight is convinced that impeachment is simply a strategy to divert attention away from the still unsettled flood control controversy. Our guest right now in the studio is a man, let's say, who has, for decades, has watched presidents rise, administrations stumble, parties and politicos reinvent themselves, and he has been a journalist, a government official, a campaign strategist, a newspaper columnist, sometimes all close enough to power to smell the smoke and the gunpowder, but far enough away to write about the fire. The man who says, I see, and asks, where do we go from here? Lito Banayo. Sir, magandang gabi po, sir.
Magandang gabi sa iyo, Lord, and thank you for inviting me.
Salamat po. Nagkausap lang tayo sa phone dati, no? Yung binalita po ninyo na may nangyayaring meeting doon sa isang casino at mukhang yung opla na tinatawag na, ano nga ba ito? Noel.
Conas.
Conas pala, sorry. Pero pupunta po tayo doon mamaya, Sir Lito, no? So, ano ang nagkukumbinsi sa inyo, sir, na lahat ito ay estratehiya lamang para ma-divert yung attention po natin, sir?
Kasi, 2 years down the road, tapos na yung term ni Presidente Marcos. Unfortunately, it's been one of the most controversial presidencies in the country. Instead of redeeming, as it was hoped for, redeeming the name of the family, the father especially, ang nangyari, got embroiled in so many controversies. But the most lethal of all these controversies is the flood control scandal, which ironically, he quote-unquote exposed through Mahiya Naman Kayo. But by next month, a year has passed. And hardly anything has moved in that fight against humongous corruption. Sobra hindi, basta we've never seen anything like it. And when you backtrack, 2023, 2024, 2025 budgets pala, nagkaroon na ng sleight of hand, no? Yung parang Houdini na, parang makalimutan yung mga importanteng proyekto at mapunta yung pondo sa unprogrammed funds na pagkatapos pinakikialaman na ng DBM, nire-release din in these anomalous projects. No? So this is not something that people are likely to forget.
Sir Lito, pero ang defense naman ng Nola ka lang niyan bakit siya maging, siya nga ang nagpakalat itong kontrobersiya na to. Siya yung kumbaga, pull the lid para ma-expose ito. Bakit siya ganun po depensa
Ako ang basa ko kasi, it was a reaction to something that happened before the SONA. Kasi nagkaroon ng baha. Sobrang ulan nun, nagkabaha-baha, hindi lang Metro Manila, Bulacan, Pampanga, all over the country nagkabaha-baha. And remember, the year before, in the 2024 SONA, he was taking pride in 5,500 flood control projects all over the country. So, his propagandists must have thought na may problema ang malaki, unahan na natin by saying yung Mahiya Naman Kayo. Ang problema, okay, sinabi mo yon, pinalakpakan ka, yung mga pumalakpak pa nga, yung mga flood control congressmen.
Para hindi mahalata.
Para hindi rin mahalata. Ang problema, ano ang nangyari since then? No? There have been a series of obfuscations, no? Excuse me. Diba? Maski sa Senado, malinaw na maraming ayaw kumbidahin or kung kumbidahin man, parang masyadong soft ang investigation na nangyari. So up to now, although people suspect who the masterminds are, I'm saying it with a plural and not the singular, pero walang formal investigation dito sa mga to.
Kumbinsido kayo that the maleta delivering Marines ay nagsasabi ng totoo? Ano po ang basihan po ninyo para paniwalaan po sila, sir?
Unang-una, tingnan mo yung facial expression. Tingnan mo yung tingnan mo yung the way they come up with their stories, no? Kuminsan may mga sablay, kuminsan may mga sinasabi nila, may mga contradictions, no? But that's because you're talking of 18 plus 4. You're talking to different people. Hindi naman sabay-sabay yan na nag-deliver ng maleta. Hindi naman nila, I mean, when I'm sure Ping Lacson, who's a good investigator, can see that, no? Pag kasi ayos na ayos yung pagkakalatag ng mga sinasabi, mukhang, yun, may script. Pero yung may konting mga mali-mali na ganyan, may konting mga contradictions, may konting discrepancies, but the story still remains, at mismo si Saldico naman, sinabi din yung maleta-maleta deliveries na yan, no? Maybe the figures are bloated, no? I wouldn't expect them to count that how much each maleta and then multiply it with the number of maletas, no? Pero malinaw na they were telling the truth, and you juxtapose this with what you saw dun sa kaila Alcantara, Hernandez and all na billiard table na groaning with $1 billion pesos or something of 1,000 peso bills, no? The visuals are there, no? The testimonies of the Ang problema, walang seryosong, ang ginagawa binubutasan natin no? Whether in traditional media or in social media na kampi sa administration, binubutasan lang lagi, no? Yung kanilang testimony, no? Instead of ferreting out the truth, the whole unvarnished truth. Yun ang kulang. At yun ang hinihintay ng tao, ang tingin ko. Kasi sila ang apektado
Ano pong pananaw ninyo kay Win Gatchalian as Senate President?
Oh, he's a good guy. He probably among the senators, he would be very qualified to mend fences between the two warring camps right now, no? The problem arises in the handling of the impeachment trial, no? Because not being a lawyer, I mean, he's bright, he's sharp, but presiding justices or presiding judges of a trial requires legal know-how. Baka yun ang kulang, yun ang problema. Hindi naman pwedeng maglagay ka ng abogado sa likod niya, no, para sa committee hearing, di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng gano'n, nakakahiya naman yun, no? So, I guess that's the reason
Yung
why
sila Vince
some
Dizon,
of them...
binubulungan si Bongo. At si Frank Drilon, kunyari, wala nakikita.
Di ba? So, yun ang problema, no? So I guess that's the reason why sila mismo, some of them, have been suggesting na si Cheese Escudero ang mag-preside.
Maganda ho bang optics yun na si Cheese Escudero ulit? Ito ba ay...
Wala naman silang choice
Ito ba ay redemption time or...
Hindi sa ganon, Lord, no? Before the program, I checked nag-google ako the senators that I first elected. No? When I was quite young, 21 pa noon
Okay.
para kang magiging botante, no?
1946 ka pinanganak, so bumoto ka ng...
Yeah.
Maganda-ganda pa ang mga pagpipilian nun.
Lahat sila abogado.
See.
Lahat sila abogado. Yung tinalo nila, mga bar top notchers din lahat. No? Ang mga tinalo nila, Tecla San Andresiga, who was the first woman bar top notcher. Kung sino-sino no? Juan Liwag of Nueva Ecija, no? Ganon. Ngayon, 5 ang abogado. 3 nandun sa side ni Alan Cayetano. Ang talagang may extensive trial experience lang dyan, si Marcoleta. Di ba?
So,
Yung dalawa, I mean, nasa kabila, si Kiko at saka si Cheese, no? Si Cheese medyo may trial experience. Yung bata pa siya before he entered politics, no? Pero alam ko, hanggang piskal lang. No? Hindi pa umabot sa talagang full-blown trial, no?
so yung hirit ni Marcoleta na, wala ka kasing legal training. May konting...
Totoo naman yon. Medyo hindi lang, medyo...
ang pagkakasabi.
Oo, pagkakasabi.
Alright.
So that is a big problem.
Binabanggit pa palagi na ang memorya ng Pinoy ay
Maiksi.
parang buhay ng mayfly. As a strategist, how do you play that to your advantage or to the client's advantage?
Well, I think that's what government is doing right now. No? Marami namang, una-una, ilan na ba ang naging press secretaries natin? 5 in 3 years, no?
Acting pa yung hanggang ngayon.
Acting pa, oo. In fact, siyam sa kabinete ngayon, including the ES, is still acting, di ba? That's 40% of the entire cabinet. No? I mean, can you imagine that? Something like that. But anyway, alam ko meron silang mga consultants, isang Kano, 2 Europeans, no?
Parang pre-snap elections.
Oo. Tapos meron pang veteran marketing guru, no? Na nandoon din, no? Pero nagtataka ako bakit ganon. So,
Sa lagay na yon, may mga consultants pa sila.
Oo, may mga consultants. So, parang ang nakikita ko nga is parang every time may problema, anong takip dyan, anong gagawin natin, everything is reactive. Eh. Kasi to begin with, wala naman talagang vision ng presidente. When we elected him, what was the mantra? Just unity.
Unity.
And why was it unity? Because nakuha niya si Sara. No? And nag-break na yung unity na yun. O, may vision ba? Anong vision natin? 20 peso rice, which was a stupid promise to begin with because it defies the laws of economics. I mean, nag-NFA ako ng 2.5 taon. No? Naiintindihan ko yung bigas. No? Diba?
At sabi mo, what policies sa kolom mo? Parang natatakot daw siya na baka isusunod sa kanya.
Yun ang kaya.
Likely, kung ganon ang mga
Babalik
ang
na rin.
ratings, babalik na rin daw lahat ng mga in-effort niya. At sabi, alin doon? Okay. Pero, Sir Lito, ano yung isang what is the most important political story that journalists are missing right now? What should be writing about?
That's a very difficult question to answer.
Sorry.
Hindi, kasi, I hate to be a Jeremiah of doom or gloom for that matter. No? But government has very little fiscal space to be able to do anything constructive so that the economy will perk up no, within the next 2 years. No? It's not because of Iran alone. It's because for the past 3 years nga, winaldas natin yung pera na dapat pumunta sa tamang infrastructure, pumunta sa health, sa education, and all the other basics. No? And then we've been, without having to give up our sovereignty issue over the West Philippine Sea, we did not have to push our relations to China into a Cold War. No? Because whether we like it or not, they're our biggest trading partner right now. We import so much from them. And at least there's still an export market for our fruits and other produce. No? So, wala kang nakikitang anong magagawa, no, to improve the situation of the common man. No? And by common man, I'm not referring to the ayuda recipients. I'm referring really to the middle class. Kasi the middle class has become the nouveau pauvre, the new poor. No? Hindi mo na ma-stretch yung income mo ngayon no? Dahil sa pagtaas ng presyo, no? Ng pangunahing bilihin. At tataas pa yan. Yun ang nakakatakot. No?
At nga, di ba, middle class, kasi hindi yon safe. Kasi they're just one sickness or one typhoon away
Precisely.
from going back down through that line.
Yeah, kaya nga pag nagtag-ulan na naman tayo at malakas yung mga ulan at
Pero mabuti na lang.
nagkaroon na naman ng
El Nino.
Pero ang problema sa El Nino, ang production natin sa September and October, no? At sa
Meron
susunod
pa ba?
na taon, yung
May
magiging
aasahan pa-
production natin.
O baka yung production na iaangkat natin.
Hindi, lahat magkakaproblema kasi tatamaan din ng El Nino ang Vietnam,
Yes.
Thailand, India, Pakistan. Yan ang pinagkukuhanan natin ng bigas. No? Kung sila tatamaan din ng El Nino, tayo tinamaan din ng El Nino, ano mangyayari sa presyo? So that's the problem. Aside from the fact na halos lahat na ng kinakain natin ngayon, ini-import na natin no? So napakahirap kang kumilos o gumalaw within that yung mga initiatives na gagawin ng gobyerno para maibsan ang hirap ng tao. I'm worried about the boiling point. No?
Nako. Sir Lito, ano yung isang pre-internet na campaign lesson from the pre-internet era that remains surprisingly relevant hanggang ngayon para sa inyo? At ano yung pinaka-overrated campaign strategy sa Pilipinas?
Ano yung
Relevant na lesson ninyo from the pre-internet period?
It's
Na
always about the message. No? Yung pagkatapos ng Coridoy, nakasali ako doon, no, na kampanya, my first defeat was Mitra because I was championing Fernan, hindi nag-vice president siya kay Mitra. So I became the campaign spokesman of the Mitra Fernan ticket. I thought that with such a humongous party, 90% siguro
LDP.
ng lahat ng LDP, local officials, LDP, mananalo kami. But the message was wrong. No? Hindi na-shock off ni the late Monching Mitra yung traditional or trapo. Image na naibansag sa kanya. No?
Nakasakit ba yung debate sa ABS-CBN dati?
Yeah, lahat ng debate
Yung
nakasakit.
magkarancho kayo. That classic
Yeah.
debate. Oh.
Lahat ng ano. So yun na naging yun no. Duterte for instance, no. Single message crime and drugs. No?
Pero paano to yung nakaupo ngayon? Kung messaging point of view.
Unity Unity lang Eh kaso sila rin ang bumasag ng unity
Hindi, pero as campaign strategy, ano yung bakit kinagat ng tao yung unity?
Dahil kay Sara. I mean, let's face it, no. Ano man ang pananaw natin sa nakaraang administrasyon, no. Ako siyempre may bias ako doon dahil I was part of that campaign, no. The fact is, up to the last minute of his presidency, he was well loved, President Rodrigo Duterte.
Hanggang ngayon.
Oo, at hanggang ngayon. So nung nagsama si Sara na anak niya at saka si Bongbong, that was it. That was unity, no?
So it was more Sara carrying
Bongbong
Marcos.
than the other way around.
Ano yung isang political myth na nagsusurvive pa rin hanggang ngayon? Pero sa tingin mo, hindi kalokohan yan.
Partido. We do not have any political parties in this country. They're only flags of convenience for personal ambition or oligarchic vested interests. So saan ka nakakita ng bansa na may-ari ng isang partido, Villar, isang partido, dating si Danding Cojuangco, although alam ko hindi naman masyadong pakialamero si Ramon ang sa politika, yung isa si Enrique Razon. Ano pa ba yung mga partido na, di ba? And these are, of course, yung lakas na dati talaga si Martin Romualdez ang nagpapatakbo.
Wala naman
I
yata
don't know
naniniwala
ngayon
kahit sa
kung
masa
sino na ngayon.
ng mga parties.
So wala nga no? Kaya palipat-lipat yung turncoat.
Comelec na lang yung naniniwala, yung nag-observe.
Yeah, in fact,
Ay, sorry, Sir Lito, hindi nyo pala nasagot. Yung overrated campaign strategy pala. Kamay-kamay sa tao.
Hindi.
Hindi.
Wala.
Sayaw
mga
sa video. Yan.
Sa local, iba kasi yung local, iba national.
Opo.
No? Yung local, yun, mga ganun-ganon. No? In fact, nakakainis na No? Yung sa local, na mapasayaw-sayaw, mga pa ako, anong mga kalokohan ginagawa.
Diretso national, di ba may sumasayaw pa rin?
Meron pa nga sumabog ang no? yeah. Pero yun na nga, these things, para masyado nating minamaliit ang utak ng Pilipino we pander to their basest likes, no? Parang ganon, di ba? Hindi pa pwedeng i-elevate naman yan, no? And in so doing, hindi ka naman mawawala ng popularity I mean, give an example, for instance, is Ping Lacson. Di ba? He never danced, never sang, never anything. Napaka-dour, napaka-seryoso kung magsalita. Pero ano pa rin, hindi pang presidente, pero pag senador, mananalo at mananalo pa rin, di ba? Di ba? Yun eh. But yung sa presidency, ewan, talagang destiny yan eh. You know, nung January 8, 2015, pumunta ako sa Davao para kausapin si Digong, Mayor Duterte. Ang nag-usap lang sa lamesa, si Sunny Dominguez, Bingbong Medialdea, Bebot Alvarez, Bongo, and myself. With the mayor. And ang explanation ko sa kanya was simple eh. Kako, subukan mo kako. 23%, at that time 23, ngayon 24. 23% of the population, voting population is from Mindanao. 20% is from Visayas. Kalahati ng Visayas, 10% of that, speak Cebuano. Taga-riyan ka sa Cebu. Meron kang 33% na base. No? Hindi ko pa binibilang yung mga Bisaya na nakatira dito sa Metro Manila and elsewhere parts of the country. Gutom na yan na magkaroon ng presidenteng taga Bisaya, no? Kasi puro dito taga Luzon eh. If you remember, no? So kako, doon tayo, yun ang gawin nating base, no? So inuna namin Mindanao, ikot sa Mindanao, no? Of course, we called it a listening tour, pero hindi naman talaga listening because it was more a monologue than listening, no? But the authenticity of the guy simply rubbed off on the people. They liked him, no?
Ano tawag dito? Si Sara Duterte ba'y nanganganib na maging, kumbaga noong 2016, si Jejo Marbinay, na before the actual elections, ang taas palagi, consistent yung mga numbers niya.
Yeah, his highest was 41% in 2014.
Ano yung posibilidad na maging ganun si Sara Duterte?
I don't see that happening. Kasi more than 1 year na yung demolition eh. More than 1 year na yung, di ba? Yung the first impeachment trial. Nag-start yan, yung mga hearings in the House of Representatives, Committee on Public Accountability, yung parang blue ribbon nila, kung ano-ano na ang binato sa kanya. Pero nung ang pagkakamaling malaki ng gobyerno, kasi medyo bumababa yung kanya, pagkakamali, tinapon si Duterte sa tatay, tinapon sa The Hague, gumano na naman. Ngayon, nakikita mo medyo steady. At least the base is holding. The Mindanao plus Central Visayas is holding. And in the last survey ng Pulse Asia, tumaas na rin siya sa NCR. No? Balance Luzon lang ang problema. No? So with that kind of a political base, no, the other is, assume natin na merong mga discrepancies do sa confidential funds. No? But the ordinary guy thinks, or the ordinary man on the street will think, ilang bang milyon yan? Samantalang yung ninakaw dito sa flood control at iba pang infrastructure projects, trilyon.
So mga abstraktong konsepto sa kanila to?
Wala sa kanila yan. No? Yung nagmura siya, yung sinabi niya, papatayin niya si tayo rin naman, kung minsan, pag galit na galit tayo, patayin kita. Di ba? These are, I'm talking, Tagaletran ka dati, one of the things that we share is meron tayong street smarts. Hindi kasi tayo elitista. No?
Hindi pwede.
Oo, hindi pwede. Di
Siguro
ba?
pre-war.
Oo.
Pwede pa.
Oo, pero di ba? May street smarts eh. You can, sabi nga I remember that quote of Vicente Madrigal, na yun daw mga Tagaletran can walk with the kings and dine with the paupers. No? That was a quote from him.
Yes.
May ganun tayo. Nakikita natin,
Talaga, kinote ni Madrigal si Kipling. I think it's a Kipling poem eh.
Si Rudyard Kipling.
Literanista ba si Madrigal? Hindi kasi kailangan mo maging street smart kung mamamatay ka sa moralya eh. Di ba? Sir Lito, okay. Inabot mo, of course, ang politika before social media and after. Pero sa tingin mo, aling period ang nakapag-produce ng mas better informed na citizenry?
Yung traditional media.
Bakit?
Kasi unang-una, yung editor mo stricto. 'Di ba? Hindi ka pwedeng mambola. Hindi ka pwedeng mag-imbento, no? Whether you like it or not, i-edit ka, pagagalitan ka pa, hindi ba? So, may disiplina yung traditional media, yung the quad media dati. Ang problema, nung pumasok ang social media, na ngayon, very, very, very widespread ang dissemination, madaming nagdudunong-dunungan at marami ring nang iimbento. No? Hindi bali na yung nagdudunong-dunungan kasi, pero yung nang iimbento ng facts. No?
Democratized
Ayun ang
daw, sir, ang
Oo
information.
nga, pero yun ang ano no? I mean, if you look back in time, kung minsan gusto mo sabihin, sana wala ng cellphone, sana wala. Parang mas masarap ang buhay nung,
Be careful what
nung
they
wala
wish
pang
for.
ganon.
Sir Lito, kayo po may sinusulat kamong libro on 7 presidents
Yeah.
that you helped campaign for.
Yeah, it started off kasi in 1981, I met Ninoy Aquino in the US. No? And then in 1982, pabalik ako ng Pilipinas, sabi niya tulungan ko si Doy Laurel. No? Which I was assigned to Doy. So yon, nag-form ng UNIDO. So that was how it started, Cory Doy. Then after that, natalo ako, nag-Mitra Fernan ako. I mean, I was a spokesman of that. Talo kami. So si FVR ang nanalo. No? Quick, doon mo makikita na yung messaging importante. Kasi si Miriam ang star nun eh. Not really FVR, but
Yes.
Miriam. No? So, pangatlo, nanalo ulit ako kay ERAP. No?
Parang imposibleng hindi ka manalo. Kahit sino
yeah,
yata.
madali yun. At saka ang kagandahan kay ERAP, sumusunod sa script.
Okay.
Yeah, yung ito pag-uusapan, ito sasabihin, sinusunod niya. Artista eh.
Discipline.
No? Discipline. After that, Ping Lacson 2004. Natalo rin ako noon. Nanalo ako kay Pinoy.
Okay.
Tapos nanalo ako kay Duterte. Natalo ako huli kay Isko Moreno 2022.
So,
But I'm proud of the people I've handled, whether they won or they lost. No? Even those who lost, for that matter.
kailan natin aasahan to? Gusto ko mabasa yan, Sir Lito.
Siguro, hopefully, mga end towards the latter part of the year.
Uy, lapit-lapit na yan. Alright. Abangan po namin yan. Maraming salamat. Thank you for
Maraming
your time
salamat din,
joining
Lord.
us in the studio. Lito Banayo.
I hope I was able to answer your very difficult questions.
Maraming salamat, sir. Arriba. Mabuhay ka. Thank you po. And we will be back. Political Beat will return after the break. And you're still watching Political Beat from Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment pre-trial at the Senate. We now turn to another Duterte case, this time before the ICC, the International Criminal Court, which held its second status conference with the presiding judge warning lawyers against misinformation, fake news, and even commentary. Let's discuss it further with ICC Assistant to Counsel Attorney Cristina Conti. Attorney, si Lord po, Lord de Vera po, thank you for joining us.
Magandang gabi, Lord.
Ayan. So, 20 minutes lang daw nagtagal itong pangalawang status conference. At ano raw po ba yung nagbunsod kay Judge Joanna Corner na bigyan ng petsa na kailangan mag-appear ang dating Pangulo Duterte na September 7?
Well, una, kaya maikli lang. Maikli lang kasi maikli lang din talaga yung agenda at mabilis naman nilang na-dispatch siya yun. Pero yung sa dulo, yun nga yung sinasabi na, teka, una, parang politika na. Una, patungkol dun sa mga statements ng councils, mag-ingat kayo. And pangalawa, bakit ba laging absent itong akusado natin? Nagkaroon ng deadline in the sense na, sige, you are required to be present. Pero ang inaabangan namin, of course, at pinag-aaralan, kung pwede pa bang ipagpaliban ng isang akusado yung presence niya. Kasi hindi pa naman yun, ang tawag nga natin sa Pilipinas, arraignment, o parang yung babasahan ng sakdal. Kaya parang, ano kaya ito? So this is an appearance upon the request, probably, ganun ang kategorya, of the court.
Pero hiningan po ng kumbaga, parang medical results itong si Peter Haynes, yung legal counsel ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Attorney?
Hindi naman si Peter Haynes lang.
Sorry, opo.
Ang itsura kasi ng nung confirmation bago ng confirmation of charges, nagkaroon ng pagkakataon na nanghingi ng request, 'di ba, to indefinitely suspend the proceedings and declare Duterte unfit to stand trial.
Nga pala, yes.
Isang argumento nun ay pre-trial pa lang to, hindi pa to trial. Kaya sabi noong trial chamber ngayon, eto na yung chance. Wala nang nakapalag. Wala nang nakapalag, sabi. Kailangan mag-reassess yung mga dating independent panel of experts nung fitness, essentially, well, yung medical situation niya, pero essentially, it is the fitness to stand trial. I-reassess lang, tingnan natin kung okay pa. At may deadline yon ng kanilang report. Tapos, in turn, mag-comment yung all parties.
Yung
So, yan yung
noon-noon pa pala
inaabangan
ito.
natin.
Okay. So, ang mga petsa po, no, ay September 7, October 13, at November 2. Ito yung mga susunod po na mga pagpupulong po dyan. Bago po ang November 30 na trial.
May July pa.
May July pa, okay?
May July pa. Itong mga parang status conference settings, binanggit din naman na posibleng hindi matuloy kung hindi na kailangan.
Okay. I
Mas
see.
ano lang to, parang pagtatansya, pero ang duda ko, isa o dalawa dyan ay, kumbaga, pwedeng ipagpaliban. Ako nga, ang iniisip ko, parang ang lapit nung November 2, tama ba, nung November 2 yung isa, no? Sa November 30 na start ng
Oo nga.
trial.
Oo nga.
Pero pwedeng, kumbaga, last minute. At katulad nitong hearing na to, mabilis lang. Parang, okay na ba tayo? Wala na bang problema? Tapos, adjournment na. So, ito namang mga status conference, ang esensya ay pag-check ng status.
Yes.
Hindi ito pagdinig sa merits, hindi ito pagdinig dun sa ebidensya. Sa totoo, dapat walang ganun kabigat na issue. Pero sa kanina, kahit nasabi na nating maikli, parang sa totoo, mabigat yung patama patungkol doon sa statements or
Ayan.
pagkakabanggit.
Punta tayo
Statements made
dyan.
by counsel out of court.
Opo. Ano nga ho ba yung nagbunsad ng paglalabas po ni Judge Corner ng ganito, no? Kasi trials are not conducted by the court of public opinion but by this court through the course of this proceeding. And we see no reason why counsel should feel it necessary to make any comment to the media. The appropriate forum for counsels to raise matters is in the courtroom. Meron ho ba kaya siyang, ano pang suspetsyon ninyo na nabasa niya from either side?
Yung may specific siyang binabanggit na counsel eh. This is the former counsel, Nicholas Kaufman. And I would think it would be some statements made by that counsel about the decision of the court. Kung mapapansin nyo, hindi naman, ang tono po nito, hindi naman sa huwag niyong pag-usapan yung kaso. Hindi naman ganon. Ang ano niya ay huwag nating i-trial yung kaso sa media. Kaya kami rin sa bahagi ng victims, syempre, sige, hindi natin ilalabas, di natin pag-uusapan kung guilty ba o hindi sa media, pero okay rin naman na ipaliwanag ang bawat side, kumbaga, at kung anong nangyayari, katulad ng ginagawa natin ngayon. Pero, kung pupuntahan mo na yung desisyon at sasabi mo, hindi ako agree dun sa judge, at ikaw ay party to the case, yan yung parang nilalabas mo sa korte, yung mga usapin. Kaya, hindi ko kabisado yung mga sinabi ni Nicholas Kaufman, pero meron ako ding napansin na nilahad niya yung kanyang dissent o hindi pagtanggap dun sa desisyon ng korte. Mas parang dun siya nag-argue sa media, dun sa outside of the court. Yan talaga ang ayaw ng kahit na anumang korte.
Oo. Pero may magagawa ba yung korte doon, attorney?
Well, kahit
Ngayon
na hindi
nabitawan niya
counsel, actually parang ngayon, parang tandaan nyo na huwag yung gagawin yan, parang ganon. So hindi sila nagsabi ng particular statements kasi kung may particular statements, ang isang pwedeng gawin ay i-call ang attention nung parang IBP So yung Integrated Bar, ito,
Oo.
ICC Bar Association,
May
kung
ganun,
member ka, so kung member ka ng ICC-BA, pwedeng magkaroon ng sanctions sa kung sino mang council na nakapaloob dito. So isa yon, pero walang sinabing ganun sa ngayon si Judge Corner. O kaya, I would not know, pero posible kung sakasakali, sa sarili niyang bansa, so parang IBP nila. So if I remember correctly, registered sa UK. King's Council
Opo.
ba? Ano ba? Si
Yung
Nicholas...
Casey,
hindi siya
Casey
King's
nakasulat.
Si
May
Peter Haynes
Casey.
Casey, oo.
Oo, si Peter Haynes. Pero, ewan ko, stupid question to, Attorney Conti, anong kaibahan ng estilo nitong si Peter Haynes doon kay Nicholas Kaufman, kung merong bang observed na kaibahan?
Actually, yung public statements, ano yun, parang some kind of refreshing na yung public statements ng council, nagsalita na not the fact that they have made statements or it's how they do it. Nagsalita si Peter Haynes, tapos deliberately, hindi niya pinag-uusapan kumbaga, yung argumento or yung kaso. Hindi niya sinusuhayan yung sentiments o yung mga feelings ng mga supporter. At hindi niya ibinababa yung mga quote-unquote kalaban. O, to be direct about it, yung mga victims. Hindi ganun ka pabalang o kaya pangontra. Medyo parang sa akin refreshing, lalo na actually the previous council pertained to me so several times na very derogatorily.
Oh, wow.
To say
Okay.
it lightly. Tinawag niya akong, ulitin ko pa ba, pero tinawag niya akong klaxon. Wow. Ang klaxon parang horn. So, actually, kanina nakikinig din ako kasi, ano bang sinasabi ni Judge Corner tungkol dun sa mga abogado na involved. At ang sabi niya, huwag niyong pag-uusapan yung merits ng case. Huwag niyong kokontrahin. Kaya ako din, nagre-reflect ako, teka, ako din ba mapapahamak? Pero I don't think na blanket statement siya na huwag pag-usapan ng kaso. Ang ayaw nila, misinformation at disinformation.
Yan. Opo. Nako, ito si Peter, subukan niya siguro pag nakabasa na siya ng comment section ng mga Pinoy, magbabago yung pananaw niya sa buhay. Yes, go ahead,
Kailangan
Attorney.
din sigurong magbabad ng social media kaya lang di ko din masabing baka naman babad sila pero hindi nila pinapansin. Alam niyo yun, parang you're defined by your character is how you react to things around you. So,
Yes.
posibleng nababasa naman talaga nila yon pero iba yung kumbaga approach nila. Sabi ko nga, ang lagit-lagi, tingnan mo yung comments. Ako, kahit pangit yan, tingnan mo kasi baka meron naman silang valid point. Kung actionable, edi sige, maybe you can act on it. Pero kung pangmamaliit lang, isang tabi mo yan. So, ang isang parang motto, the statements of those who matter, the statements of those who don't matter. Parang ganun.
Maganda
So,
yun.
kailangan, kumbaga, meron ka lang framework. You read it, pero you have to objectify. Pero in any case, yung team talaga nila, I would hope na they would also police their own ranks. May ganun akong, kasi sa totoo, yung karamihan ng ina-address ko, hindi mga biktima, kundi yung mga deluded na sinasabing, mali yung ginagawa mo, hindi naman ganyan. And I would say that would be their own ranks, kumbaga, kung in terms of people na ang dapat magpaliwanag sa mga taong kinakausap ko ay yung abogado ni Duterte, hindi po yung abogado ng mga biktima. Kaya sana magkaroon din sila ng strong, kumbaga, messaging, lalo na yung sa pagpapaliwanag kung sino ba ang mga biktima at ano ang papel nila. Kasi parang usually ang bitaw, no? Sasabihin nila, ang mga biktima dapat Una, peke. Hindi na dapat nagsilabas pa. At dahil nagsisinungaling, ay hindi totoo ang pinag-uusapan sa ICC. At wala dapat kaso. So yun yung ultimo. Mali po yun. And then pangalawa, na lahat ng biktima ay tinuturing nilang witness. O yung tipong kapag nawala yung witness, hindi na rin matutuloy yung kaso. Sana walang ganung pananaw yung mga tao dyan.
Alright. On that note, maraming salamat po sa oras na binigay niyo sa amin. ICC Assistant to Counsel Attorney Cristina Conti. Ma'am, maraming salamat po at magandang gabi sa inyo.
Salamat. Maraming salamat sa opportunity na magpaliwanag.
July 14 po ulit. Balik. All right, so among the first details that caught the internet's attention, aside from the 40 bullet casings, is a shirt. Yes, a shirt. A photograph shows one of the two suspects wearing a KMFDM shirt, a reference to the German industrial rock band often invoked in discussions of school violence since Columbine, 1999. Some will seize on that detail as if a logo were a confession, but shirts do not pull triggers, and symbols cannot explain why 3 children are dead and many others wounded. They say that these would never happen in the Philippines ever. Columbine, Sandy Hook, Virginia Tech, Parkland, and many others. Our teenagers don't suffer enough parental neglect and don't have enough money. Plus, you can't buy Tech-9 submachine guns worth 59,000 pesos from SM. Once upon a time, we settled disputes with our fists. When one fighter gets a bloody nose, that's it. World peace. You're friends again. But you do not need automatic rifles to ruin lives. In fact, the Tacloban shooting arrives after a string of disturbing reports, stabbings, threats, assaults, and even foiled attack plots involving school children. Individually, these incidents seemed isolated, stories that turned before disappearing beneath the next news cycle. However, they suggest something more troubling. Schools increasingly becoming octagons for settling conflicts that turn into crime scenes. And now come the knee-jerk reactions. Politicians will blame Kiko Pangilinan and demand amendments to the Juvenile Justice and Welfare Act. Others will call for more metal detectors, armed guards, and other systems to turn kindergartens into fortresses. Some will point to mental health, bullying, social media, broken families, or toxic online communities. Right now, my social media timeline is brimming with posts blaming violent video games and those Netflix documentaries. Each argument contains a fragment of truth, yet there is something almost ritualistic about how quickly we retreat into our snug explanations before we rewrite laws or draft new regulations. It needs to be asked, how did 2 minors obtain firearms? Why was school security so inadequate? Were warnings missed? Were reports of bullying ignored? Why did so many systems fail simultaneously? And does a band shirt loaded with dark significance even a signifier of intent? For now, though, the country owes the victims other than outrage, seriousness. 3 students left home on an ordinary school day and never returned. Their classmates will carry memories that no child should ever retain. But if Tacloban teaches us anything, it is that tragedies are rarely caused by a single failure. They are what happens when many small failures at home, in school, government, and in society are tolerated for too long. This horror did not emerge from nowhere. The dead deserve more than easy answers. There will be time for legislation, for committee hearings, and televised blame games. For now, it is time to grieve. And that's the word of the Lord for tonight. And that's the Political Beat this Tuesday, 23rd of June. I am Lourdes de Vera. Enjoy the rest of the evening.